Hey gang, what's going on? Coach Joe, Doc, and Jock podcast. This is a Friday short featuring yours truly. Today, gang, we're going to talk about every day being back day. If you're not doing it now, you need to start. An injury is going to put you there, but why not be proactive and get it done before you get hurt and miss time? So Dr. Danny and I have put our heads together and come up with a neat little plan. And I'm going to kind of run you through some of that. But before we get into that, guys, show sponsors for this edition of a Friday Short. Joe's Barbell, my own personal weightlifting page. Head on over there to www.joesbarbell.com. Tons of remote weightlifting and coaching options. We have moms trying to get some muscles, weightlifters trying to qualify for the American Open. We got one who's really close to doing it. Our boy Vinny is kicking butt. He just totaled 304 in training. And that is a hefty 12 kilos above the qualifying total. So hopefully we can put that together on the platform. So head on over there. We can check out some of Vinny's lifting on the Joe's Barbell weightlifting Facebook page. So check out Joe's Barbell on the Facebook. And guys, also head on over to Instagram at Joe's Barbell, and you'll see a peculiar looking gentleman. He is my coach. Guy who's in my garage in a lot of my videos. My coach is a squirrel. Coach Dush, get the skinny on what he's doing, the daily Dush posting. It's a long story, but it's a funny story. And if you shoot me an email, Joe at Joe's Barbell, not only will I tell you the funny story about how we came to get this taxidermy squirrel, but I can also talk to you guys about hooking you up with 7 days free in the Joe's Barbell weightlifting private forum. On that forum, guys, we have a 24-hour response time to all postings. Yours truly, I'm the one putting in the work. Conveniently post at your leisure. And guys, I'm going to hook you up with a bunch of tips and tricks, link you some good tutorials on mobility, stability, and weightlifting drills that I think can help you out. And guys, this is for CrossFitters, folks just trying to get strong, and competitive weightlifters. So jump on in there, guys. We keep the group small on purpose so we can cater to your needs. So check that out. Again, joesbarbell.com, and shoot me an email, joe at joesbarbell.com, and I can get you all the information you could need. Also, guys, check out the Doc and Jock webpage, 7-day free mobility overhaul. Mobility is a huge question. We get it all the time. Dr. Danny and I have some experience hooking you up. We put our heads together and give you a 7-day plan to get you started. And also, if you sign up for that 7-day free plan, you also get 2 months free of Mobility WOD Pro. So Dr. Danny and I get you started. We know Dr. Danny is a great instructor for that group, and Mobility WOD Pro can keep you going with all of your mobility needs from there on out. So, guys, we get you going. They keep you going. I think it's a great way to interact. So check that out. But fired up to talk to you about this episode. So another thing Dr. Danny and I are going to bring to you is this Every Day is Back Day plan coming to you very soon. But guys, the stats are huge. The stats are crazy regarding back pain, back injuries. 80% of folks are going to experience back pain. Back pain is going to keep them from doing the things they want to do. 90% of those folks who experience the back pain are going to experience it again. They're going to re-aggravate the injury, guys. So right there, the stats are telling me, there's 20% and 10% of people that are lying, right? Everybody I've talked to, 100% of folks have hurt their back, especially those training hard, playing sports. It's something that happens, and guys, it can be avoided, and we're going to talk about that. But aside from the injury statistics, there's some performance goals to think about. There's a couple interesting coaches that I follow. There's your popular American coaches here in the States, and there's some really good ones. Guys qualifying people for nationals. We just, congratulations. We've gotten a medal here in the Olympics, Sarah Roble, so we appreciate that. She hit bronze, fired up for that. So we're doing some coaching. We're getting some great things done here in the States weightlifting-wise. But, I'm a bit contrarian in my approach to things. So I like to look for different folks doing different things. And one of the folks that I look for, you see, as good as we did, earning a medal, the Chinese team did really well. So I love to look for, and also Filipinos. We have Heidelin Diaz, someone we've raised some money for, someone I've met personally, and I've talked with her coach, one of her coaches. They're a smaller group, training under different conditions, and they also medaled. So Heidelin earned silver. So, I really like to look to that Eastern philosophy for some weightlifting. And if you follow guys like Kirksman Teal, if you look at feeds like Ma Strength, and even my Polish brother from another mother, the man behind the scenes helping Heidelin out, Coach Pape Jacek, these guys talk a lot about strengthening the back and the importance of it. I know Kirksman Teal, when we interviewed him for the Doc and Jock podcast, he told us a great story about how when he was over in China, watching the little kiddos deal with having to earn a 20-minute reverse plank. So a reverse plank is you're suspended, your face up, belly up. Maybe your feet are on a box. Maybe your shoulders are under a bench and there's nothing in between. But the kiddos there have to accumulate a 20-minute reverse plank. That's what he saw. That's what he told us he saw. And then once they can accumulate that 20 minutes, they then work to accumulate a load for 20 minutes. And they expand and build this huge trunk base. And Coach Jacek, Papi Jacek, has done some cool posting, and he's talked with us about the voodoo science of moving slow and eccentrically loading and moving with control, and this is going to develop some of the deeper stabilizing muscles. Another group, Ma Strength, a great post. They have tons of stuff. You'll see some suspended and dynamic variations of back extension work. You'll see Lu Jiazhang going crazy with some loaded variations, but they're doing it, and what they're finding is that it's the lower back is crucial to their performance. They're going to prioritize that. So the specifics of the strength of the lower back, guys, is more important than hip and knee strength in weightlifting. And some of the research coming out of the Ma Strength camp is that the strength of the lower back needs to be given priority. So neat stuff. It's all around us. Injuries, again, the back injuries are going to keep you out. The statistics with the back, a tweak, pull, this, that. It could be a day. It could be a few hours. But, most of the times it's going to be 3, 4, 6 weeks. Sometimes that back, if it's bad enough, is going to keep you out. So, but the cool part is the back is very responsive to training. A lot of blood flow going to the lower back. So that said, it can recover, right? And also, if it can recover, we can train it. So why not get to training it with a systematic plan? So that's where every day's back day is going to come into play. Now, before we can get into that, I want you to kind of think about the back in terms of a big old cylinder. So we're going to expand our thought process on the back, and we're just going to call it the trunk. And I want you to think about our trunk, guys, having a top, a bottom, and a front and sides, okay, like anything. So when we think about the top of our trunk, we're going to consider the diaphragm. We watch our ribs when we're breathing, ribs expanding up and down. That's the diaphragm working. And also our T-spine and our shoulder girdle. The bottom and the bottom portion, we're going to talk about our lower lumbar, activating our pelvic floor, getting the glutes involved in supporting. And when we talk about the front, guys, we're going to look at the abdominals, okay? The traditional, what you would consider your core. If you think of our abdominals, and then also, guys, we have our obliques to train. That's the sides. We really need to strengthen and prioritize all these regions in order to firm up the back, right? When we can get all those muscle groupings to firm up, if we can have awareness and body control of those groups, we can really strengthen the spine. The spine's really interesting. A lot of different bones. It's made to move, but it's also made to firm up when we need it to. And to get that nice, strong, neutral spine to help our hips hold water, when that spine, when that trunk, when all that core, that traditional stuff that you might consider the core, when it's firing appropriately, it allows the outer extremities to do their job. So in my opinion, guys, there's no stronger place to put emphasis on your training as to developing trunk awareness, trunk strength, trunk mobility, and we're going to get you going on that. So it does not really, guys, have to be difficult. So what we want to get into here, guys, is a 3-prong approach. When we consider each of these regions, when we consider the trunk, we really just need to do 3 things. We're going to have to mobilize it, we need to stabilize it, and we need to strengthen it. And that's what we do with this Everyday is Back Day program. So when we talk about mobility, we've covered it a ton. We have a ton of great content already on mobility of the lower back and how to strengthen it, cruise the Doc and Jock feed to find that. And also, guys, Dr. Danny and Athlete's Potential, great website, great YouTube page. And like I said before, I alluded to this with the 7-day overhaul. We're hooking you up with mobility WOD stuff. So Danny's consulting with Kelly Starrett regularly and a couple other top-notch docs. So check those guys out for your mobility stuff. But, guys, you generally want to just make sure you're stretching, make sure you're distracting, make sure you're smashing these areas around the back, the trunk, the core, in your shoulders, and varying up the approach. Okay, if you have something specific to work on, you can Google it, you can check it out, go through it. And guys, we've talked about that a ton, so I don't want to spend a ton of time there because we've done it already. If you have a specific region, shoot it to us. We love getting questions, iTunes review questions. We'll hook you up there, so do that. But stability is something that's not as talked about, and it's as important. With good mobility, you can earn real estate, but generally, with just mobilizing it, you are renting that real estate. With great stability practice, you can own that real estate. You can do stuff with it. So if we can mobilize the thoracic spine, for instance, right? Great, we have a range of motion. But if we can train stability in different ways, we can then own the real estate in that region in all those different shapes. We can talk about your arch to hollowed shapes, and you can do some things there. If you talk about a kipping pull-up, it's a dynamic arch to hollow, getting your chin or chest to the pull-up bar. Can you move through those two positions, flexion and extension of the spine, and go up and down and hold a good shape, strong enough where you can get a transfer of energy from your hips to your shoulders and up and down on that pull-up bar? When you talk about a snatch, can you maintain a strong position of the spine, that spinal neutrality throughout the duration of the lift while you're moving large loads very quickly? Well, that's where stability comes into play. We can challenge stability in lots of different ways. When we're talking about with Everyday Back Day program, we want to challenge stability in two ways, in a dynamic fashion and a static fashion. So it's not very difficult to think about that. When we think static, we're going to put you in a variety of positions. We're going to ask you to hold those positions. And when we're talking about a dynamic work, we're going to ask you to move in a variety of different ways. So without going through the whole protocol, we can take some simple exercises like dead bugs. We've talked about dead bugs with the guys at Power Athlete HQ. Great exercise, especially if you're a guy who's got the butt wink, right? If you're someone who's come up with this chest up, butt back mentality for your life and you're experiencing back pain. Well, you're experiencing back pain because of that bad position. That hyperextension, especially of the lower back, right? We're stuck there. It's supposed to be neutral. Hips should hold water. We don't want to be overarched, overextended. So dead bugs can train that out. But we can take a dead bug, for example, and we can do full dead bugs where you're going to bring your arms, both legs up. You can do an ipsilateral dead bug where maybe you'll just work your right arm and your right leg, keeping your left side suspended. And then a contralateral dead bug where maybe you're working your left leg, right arm, and keeping your other two legs suspended. We'll post videos of all these different varieties in the show notes so you can see. But even within doing those reps in a dead bug like that, again, we'll hollow out, we'll get good form. We'll talk about that in those videos as well. But you can take those positions and do them for reps, 3 sets of 10 to 20. You can work for 50 reps, or you can do the holds, ipsilateral dead bug hold for time, hold for 30 seconds, hold for 1 minute, hold for 90 seconds, contralateral. Let's hold a full dead bug. You can do all these different things, and it's going to promote stability, body awareness. And again, I really think that to some degree, yes, we want to be fast. Yes, we want to be explosive. Yes, there's transfer to all that, but we also need to work the static trunk work. Holds for time, I think, are very valuable. Again, 20 minutes, probably a little bit much. But guys, 90 seconds to 2 minutes, yeah, we should be able to do that. And we should be able to do it with load. Another thing that I've worked on is when we're working for some of this stability work, along with the static holds, I've also want to talk to you about a format that we'll incorporate in the program, this Bruce Lee format. We know Bruce Lee. We know our if we watch our old kung fu flicks, we got guys who are getting real isometric, and they're shaking, they're vibrating, and they're holding, right? We want to get into some of that with this too. So we teach some body awareness and stability by forcing in those same positions, we can take any of the 3 dead bug positions we talked about, ipsilateral, contralateral, and a full dead bug, and we can work for a max isometric contraction for 10 minutes, rest for 20. So we kind of Tabata that. So it's something else we'll also link into the show notes to give you a thing, give you some thoughts about this Bruce Lee format. But there's all types of ways, guys, to incorporate stability, and it's holding these positions and challenging those positions. So we can challenge them with movement. So again, when we do a dead bug, we're going to establish a really strong hollow position in the trunk, and then we're going to go through a variety of different movements that look like a V up to challenge that stability of the trunk. And then also, guys, we can challenge to hold, and we can hold in a variety of different ways. So that's how we're going to really attack stability. And I think if you kind of incorporate that into a warm-up, into a cool down, along with your mobility, or it's a buyout after a workout, easy enough, guys. It's super easy. I'll throw that into a warm-up set, a warm-up circuit where I'll mobilize, I'll do some monostructural work to get sweaty, and then I'll hit something for the trunk. And a lot of times it's that dead bug. And for me, when we go back to our anatomy, I kind of look at the dead bug as a focus on the abdominals, right? And you can do maybe a Superman crunch and different Superman varieties to work the lower back, right? And then to do the top and work the T-spine, I really like to do kind of scap pulls, scap raises, scap dips, scap holds. So we'll get into some of that, guys. The Everyday's Backdate program has a pretty comprehensive list of progressions to walk you through each region. The other thing we need to do, guys, is strengthen the trunk. And I think a lot of the programming that I do, a lot of the programming that I write is in response to what I see in the CrossFit community. So when I look at maybe how do we supplement and how do we layer in some strength protocols that you could fit into your workouts, I look at strengthening CrossFitters and folks who are kind of just walking around in 3 ways. I look to develop some rotational strength, some unbalanced strength, and then, guys, I love to break down the barbell movements into partial movements to strengthen weaknesses in positioning. So when we talk about each one here, we'll start with rotational strength. I alluded to the sides of your trunk earlier, and the obliques are really important, okay? So we develop rotational strength through a chop progression, a rotation progression that's going to use banded strength. We can chop down, we can lift up, and we can rotate with bands and plates. And we can do that from a split position, we can do that from a kneeling position, and we can do that standing with toes forward. Positions that you are going to utilize in your training, positions that you're going to utilize in your sport. But if we can rotate and develop some strength and mobility as we move through these different planes of motion, it's going to firm you up. It's going to create some awareness that if you have an oops moment in a workout, it won't be so bad. So when we talk about developing rotational strength, we're going to put you in some awkward positions so those positions aren't so awkward when the awkward moment happens. And when we look at unbalanced strength, this is where I'll put somebody on some kettlebell carries where maybe they just have the one hand. So a couple varieties here, and again, we'll link these in the notes too, where we can do maybe just a carry, a suitcase carry with one dumbbell. And then we can take that into a single arm front rack carry with the kettlebell or the dumbbell, and then a single arm overhead carry. That kind of walking slow with heavy loads is going to force you to practice making your hips hold water. It's going to force you to engage your trunk in a variety of ways that are going to promote happy positioning and strength. It's going to keep you guys from being part of that 80-90% group. And lastly, guys, when we talk about partial barbell movements, this is where we might, like, for example, just practice breaking a barbell off the floor. Can you go from your setup to the knee and then hold that position and then return the bar to the floor with no noise? We see a lot of this with jerk dips, and we see a lot of this too in the weightlifting community where we're going to do jerk recoveries or overhead squat recoveries, where maybe we're overhead but we're in a power rack and we're only going to squat up a quarter squat, maybe lower. You can take it all the way down to some bottoms up full depth squats to promote a good receiving position. I think what these movements do is force you to brace up, right? They're going to incorporate all the different things. You're going to need the mobility to get in those positions. You're going to need the stability to set your setup. And then here's where we're really going to work the strength to get into that recovery and that good finishing position. So we see that that's the opportunity with the partial barbell movements to, once we get some good practice, to really load up the exercise, practice under huge loads, and really get a great response that's going to challenge the whole trunk. And I think if you systematically do a little bit of this throughout the week, spending 10 to 20 minutes a day in your warm-up, in your buyout, sprinkling it into your workout, you really avoid being part of that 80-90%. I have to say, it's been a while since I've tweaked and freaked my back out, tweaks it with some kind of pull and had that freak injury keep me from training. And part of the thing is putting this stuff in to my warm-up, my cool-down, what I'm doing in session. Okay, so we hope this kind of helps. It's kind of a neat little approach. It's something we're working on. It's something we get a lot of. It's something I just wanted to gloss over with you guys and let you know that a little bit every day is going to keep you training every day. To me, there's no other region that you can prioritize more than the back, okay? Your legs can be strong, but if your back can't support the load, what's the point, right? You can have this huge bench press, but if something's going wrong, what's the point? So hopefully this helps, guys. We want to make every day back day, guys. Quick nod again to the show sponsors. Check out Joe's Barbell for what you need to get strong, what you need to stay in shape. Check out, guys, the Doc and Jock webpage for our 7-day mobility WOD overhaul, and our buddies at Mobility WOD for hooking you up with 2 months free. Really appreciate what you guys are doing. Please, gang, leave us an iTunes review with a question. We love answering your questions. Part of this Everyday's Back Day program that we're developing is a response to what we're getting from you guys. The lower back stuff is popular, it's important, and it's a huge performance indicator and limiter, right? So a thoughtful approach here. Hopefully this is it. Hopefully this helps. We'll have links in the show notes to some of the exercises we talked about. We will have info coming at you shortly regarding this comprehensive program supplement that Dr. Danny and I are developing to hopefully give you a plan to attack and integrate some of these ideas into your workout every day in under 15 to 20 minutes. So hope this helps, guys. This is Coach Joe signing off. And hopefully, guys, if you work every day back day, it'll help you prove that if you have a body, you are an athlete. Thanks a lot, gang.